I'm Jenny. Jennifer, but everyone, when I was growing up, I'm Jenny. Thank you all for being here to join us in celebrating Tammy's life. It's still hard to believe that she's passed on to be with Dad, Grandpa, and all the loving family who was passed on before her. And we are grateful to be here with all of you. Tammy was always a fighter. She never liked being told she couldn't do something. She especially loved proving people wrong. One of the best stories that I think encapsulates Tammy and her fighting spirit was when we were in junior high in Southern Hills in Boulder, and she was playing on the softball team, and she went up to bat, and the coach on the other team said, "Oh, come on, move up, move up. She can't hit that ball." She hit it over their heads and got on base. It was like she was saying, "See what I can do." She said, "Underestimate me and watch just what happens." Just as in life, when the doctors told Mom and Dad that Tammy probably wouldn't live past 12 or 13 because of her cystinosis diagnosis, Tammy said, "Okay, life, let me show you." And she hit it over life's head, and she lived to be 56 years old. While things definitely were harder for her later years, with declining vision and hearing, Tammy lived every day with grit and determination. She lived and loved with everything she had. And those who loved her were grateful for the time we had together. I think everyone can agree she had one of the most vibrant smiles. She could light up a room. You could see her smile from miles away. So when you find yourself thinking of Tammy and missing her, just picture that smiling face. Know she's dancing in heaven, seeing vividly and hearing clearly, and peace in paradise. We love you, Tammy, until we meet again.
I'm Wendy. I'm the baby of the family. I like to remind everybody of that as often as possible. Tammy is about 6.5 years older than me. And, growing up with a sibling who had so many issues and ailments, as I reflect back, I'm so thankful for my parents and the way they raised us, because I just thought life was normal. I didn't, feel like there was extra focus on Tammy, or that even that there was really much wrong with her, other than being a bratty older sister sometimes, right? One of the things, we would play around a lot. We would dress up clothes and do performances to old songs, and do them. I don't even know if we did them in front of some of our Boulder folks. I hope not. They were devastating. So. You remember those? Oh boy! Thank goodness we didn't have cell phones back then. So. One time, I shouldn't say one time. We did it many times. We would bounce on the pull-out couch bed. We would be on it, jumping on it like a trampoline. Sorry, Mom. And then we would push each other off. And I pushed Tammy off. She broke her foot. And my punishment was that she wouldn't let me play with her crutches. So she found her way. She had a big heart, as we know, for the Now Project. But one of the things she also did as a young child was she would do trick-or-treating for UNICEF and collect money for UNICEF. And she also would stay up for the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, and she would lay on the couch with her blanket and be up all night watching all the stories, and just sending her wonderful vibes towards that program. So she always found things that she could contribute to, and I just love that about her. She got interviewed by Harry Smith when he was working in Denver because of her size, and they did video. They interviewed her about her disease and her height and all of those things, and then they took a video of her driving our big green van. We had like the original A-team size van, and here's Tammy sitting on like 5 phone books so that she can, reach where she needs to reach to drive the car, and she did great. So another thing that just didn't keep her down. She did get a lot of short jokes, and sometimes from strangers. And ooh, did that make us mad.
Yeah, that is true.
But she also didn't like her little sisters defending her sometimes, so. But I do remember in high school, a lot of kids would make fun of her and call her Smurf and things like that. So what'd she do? She dressed up like a Smurf for Halloween. She always found her way to kind of get back at you. I teach 7th grade. And one of the first stories that I read every year is called Big Things Come in Small Packages. And that was Tammy. And in this story, I talk about Tammy a lot because it is about a young man who's very short and gets teased. And I use that to bring that empathy to my students and to have that clear connection to an actual person so they understand how words can really hurt and strange looks can really hurt. A couple years ago, Mom and Tammy came to visit my class. And Mom was the class grandma. She would buy supplies for my students. And Mom and Tammy got to visit, and my students were so excited. And they asked all kinds of questions. Unfortunately, they asked Mom if I was a good kid and if I snuck out. So don't answer. But Tammy got to share her life with them too. And I just know for them, who only met her that one time, but heard stories from me as well, when you talk about Tammy impacting lives, this is another way that Tammy will impact lives that she just knew for a few minutes, right? I look out and I'm so thankful to see all of you here, her church family that is from this church and her church family from beyond, and all of her relatives and family, and we're just very thankful that you're here. I want to thank my parents for doing an incredible job with all of us, and my mother is an amazing caregiver, and she's the reason Tammy lived as long as she did. So thank you all for being here, and we love you, Tammy.